Hello everybody and welcome to another tutorial in camera and lens repair, and this time I will take a famous Leica Summincron-R, and it's a 50mm f2 made in Canada, and it's because it has some haze kind of, and I would like to show how you can how I actually clean the lens, and maybe you can do the same. Yeah, let's go on. You see this old Leica R lens, which actually missing the front here. That's why I got it. And but it's still a good lens. I mean, I don't care if the front lens hood is missing, but it's a glass element that is the important. But if we take a closer look in this particular lens, and especially with a LED torch, yeah, it could be whatever torch, you could actually see there is a lot of dirt in here, especially hazy stuff. Kind of, there is a lot of dirt. Yeah. Well, let's have a look inside. I could actually do the same if I had an old MacLight. You will see the same thing, kind of. Not so much power in this, but it will, well, it will do the same exactly. But it has a lot of haze and dirt and dust in here. So how can we actually get that as a clear lens again? Well, first of all, we have to go dig into it. It's not that hard, but there's one thing that's a bit tricky. It is the whole lens assembly is held in place by a retaining ring under here. So if I take off this cone, there will be a retaining ring that holds the whole lens aperture in place. But let's dig into it. We need the cone. I mean, we could use the cones here from Japan Hobby Tool. No, I'm not sponsored by any company. Let's make that clear. Now, it will be number 5 here, and you can just put it in here. If this front here is sitting really hard screwed in, it could be that they have used some yeah, kind of thread lock, and that's why we use some isopropyl alcohol, 99% or so. If you only have 70 or 80%, that might be fine. So we simply add a little around here. You can see it will actually move around the edge and going into the thread, which you can see here, and let it sit a little, and hopefully it will be possible to unscrew this ring. You could also using a lens compass tool to unscrew it if you do not have those, or you could go into the hardware store and buy some of those rubber gasket, which is really good rubber. It will say you just, I mean, it's extremely sticky, more sticky than the cones, but of course the cones are a bit quite old. But yeah, what do you prefer? Well, I could just use the cheap rubber thing from the hardware store, press it in, and then turn it. Or if you just prefer the other, the lens tool, compass tool, whatever tool you have, It is also possible. Just to make that clear, there are many solutions for that. Just not scratch the front lens. So now we can see here's this, it's made of plastic. So let's get that out. Now, set the lens to the aperture to 16. And before we continue, this is important. We need to set a scratch. Now you see the index mark here, this one, and we go all the way up to here, where we will set a mark here. This mark is in line with the index mark. And now we go down here and set another mark. Yeah. Because those marks has to sit in line when we assemble it again. Not the retaining ring here is not important, but we need to set those marks here. And you can also, if you think of that, we go onto the back, and you could also make a scratch here on, I've already been into the lens, so you could just set a mark here. So those two marks are in line. And also maybe set a mark out here. And we can also, because we will take off the back here, so just set a tiny mark here. You can always cover it with some a black marker, but don't touch the glass. Now we are now ready to take off the retaining ring here. This ring sits, you see the two notch here, it's the retaining ring that hold the whole lens assembly, aperture assembly in place. So don't forget to set this mark in line with the other mark, which is also in line with the index mark. Important. So now we can set a, we can use a lens compass tool to get that retaining ring out. And we could use a compass lens tool, but that would be possible. But we could also use a hole saw, 44mm, which I grind all the teeth except two. Then grind it so it can fit in this retaining ring or other retaining ring with almost the same diameter. It gives a good grip and it will not slip. So we can have it like this and have a, so now it can sit tight, and if it does, we can actually do the same thing as the with the front. We can just add some isopropyl alcohol onto the retaining ring and let it suck in. It could be they used a thread lock back then. So now we can continue with the unscrewing this. It's already loose. So take that out. So free, nothing special. Next thing is, if we look here on the back, see the back here, the two marks I set before, it's out of alignment. That's why we need, if we can, I can just grab on here onto this side here and show what happened. So now we are at 16, and then I can just turn the lens assembly, and the aperture will also open, and I mean open even more the more I turn the lens aperture assembly. So now I can just take it out, and we just remember the marks. That's important. Now bend it over, and we can just let the whole lens assembly fell into my hand. So now we see here the aperture pin, which is again connected to this gap here, this fork, and this is actually the aperture ring that moves. And since I have modified my lens to work with the as a very manual lens, it will not be useful to use on a Leica R camera, because I make this modification to the aperture pin. Maybe you can see in there, there's a little metal thingy here, which was when I modified this lens back then many years ago, to follow the, when I move the aperture ring, it will also move the aperture in the lens. So this is how it is working, and I just put the spring back again, so it works as it should. As now back to the lens. You see again here, again before we unscrew the front lens assembly, set a mark here on the plastic here, in line here, and also here. It will make the, I mean, when you put the front lens in again, and it will also say the back lens, but when you put the front lens in, it will sit the same place as it was in the factory. So again, there is another retaining ring here, sits with 2 notch here, and I can I've actually made a tool for this. It's 39 millimeter with 2 small pins there, there. This is just a yeah, a tube from something, I don't know what, but it fits here. So when putting on here and there, I can just turn it. I mean, I could also use my compass here, just to make that, if you don't have kind of a special tool like this. I have no idea how the original tool was looking, but you can just do this here. So we can unscrew this. So off with that. And if it's possible to take that out, no, not really. It can fall into my hand. The whole lens assembly will come out. So this is how it looks. The aperture, nothing special. So now we are looking into the front lens assembly retaining ring, which is smaller than the whole lens assembly ring. So now we are looking into the front, and how does that look? If we take a torch, we can see how bad it is or how good it is, but There's a lot of dirt in here. And there's even more haze, kind of. Not good. I took a picture before I cleaned the lens, so there will be two different pictures in the very end of the video where you can see how much different there is between the before cleaning and after cleaning. Now, well, I can begin to clean this part here, and we need a stand to put it on. See, those rubber tools, this is a 50mm, it's good to put the lens on. And I will just clean stuff away with lighter fluid. Yeah, it's a great thing. And those are PEG pad with lens wipes, which I like to use. There are other brands out there, but I prefer those because I can get them in a shop. So we simply add a little and just let it come out there, and we simply give it a good gently touch. Don't press too much on it. How does it go when it's... Now I clean the back. Is there any difference? Yeah. There's actually a lot. But how does it go if I clean the front, the very front? And I want to clean the whole lens element and also in between here. But you cannot unscrew those, the back here. So we need to go in from the front. And to doing that, again we'll use the rubber cones. Let's see, can it fit there? Yeah, it can. So it's number 4, cone number 4, which I can put it in here and have a good grip on it. Then use my lens tool, compass, whatever, and put it in here and unscrew it. Just lock the tool. And you see, when I unscrew this lens, it will probably, maybe not, and it can sit tight. So before unscrew it, again, we'll just add a little isopropyl alcohol on the retaining ring here. Let it suck in, because they could have used some thread lock. So now we can just let it sit a little, but since I've been into this, it should be quite easy. So let's give it a go. See, I can turn it and take a good look if the front lens is moving. You should put a finger on it so it will not turn, but most of the time it will not turn because there is a kind of a plastic gasket between the retaining ring here and the front lens. So we could hopefully unscrew it like this. So it's off, no problem. And now, since I set my mark in the very beginning, you see this, I'll just set a mark here on the front of the lens, just like this. yeah, now we can see it. And there is a plastic ring here, which we can take out, and it will prevent the front lens from moving when I put in the front retaining ring. So don't break this. I'm not. I think it's plastic. It's not paper. So now I can use my lens tool, lens sucker here, and put it on and pull out the front lens. And before we continue to do anything, I will set a mark here. And I will use a with a pen and simply make a mark here. This is where the lens should be. So, and I will not wipe it away because I mean the lighter fluid will not take it away. So it's good. So I can put the lens on this 32 millimeter kind of. It's my stand for this lens. Let's see how it is before. Clean it. Very dirty, both on the back side and the front side. So I'll just put it on here. Don't forget the mark is your reference. So I will simply use another piece of paper and use some lighter fluid and give it some good cleaning fluid. And gently, circles. And it will not take away the, interesting, it will not take away the red mark. So I will just use some. The mark was only set because I need the mark for the pen. But this isopropyl alcohol can take it away. And then I will just use another lens wipe to clean the front. So it is. Yeah, it's not a new lens, so but we can also do the back. Let's see how good it will be. Another lens wipe. So and so how good will it actually be? Interesting. My mark. Now, there's actually a very big difference, in my opinion. I mean, there's something on the edge, but we could just give it another go. So there. There's just something. Yeah, there are some scratch on this old lens, but it doesn't really matter to me. And it's so much better than it was. Can we put it on something? So now I need to see what's going on here on the inside, which is more, I mean, there's something more on it, especially on the inside. But how good is it actually? There's a lot of dirt in here. And well, I will just put it on something better than this. Maybe this one can be useful. It's the 52.8 millimeter. And for that I will also use some cotton buds. And it will make it more easy to do. And because the edge in here is more tricky to come into. Now let's try. And I will just use a curtain board here. Maybe it's not possible. Or maybe it is. Well, actually a huge difference. There is just something down here. So the lens is actually much better than it was. So I think it'll be fine. Then I can add my front lens here. It's just a tiny white spot. I think it's something old stuff. Where's my mark? My mark is here. So I can just put this lens in where the mark is. So there. Then add the this plastic ring. And just put it in here. Can be a little tricky. So, and it sits good. Then I can add the front retaining ring here for this lens assembly. Click, it says. And keep an eye on the front lens itself. Will it move or not? Well, I will just put a finger on it. I can always wipe it away. And let's see. Yep. So, and it sits good. I can always wipe it away with a lens wipe, but for now it's okay. And well, there are some dirt on the front. I can just use a so. Well, it's much better than it was. So if we think of, well, it's not a new lens. Yeah, I know that. But still, I think it's so much better. So I'll just put it in here again. And I have my mark there. And there is another mark here somewhere. Just have to sit in line. So there. See the two marks. Then I can add this ring, which holds the front lens group in place, and simply put it in. Well, I better use the ordinary tool. Maybe you, I mean, you probably do not have those special tools like I have. I mean, made myself. So there and there. Then tighten it. And we need to have a good look on the front lens. Where is my mark? There. Those marks are in line. So I can just try to tighten this retaining ring. And maybe I have to go for a few turns. And it's plastic this retaining ring is screwed into. Because this lens is made in Canada. And they just make it a little cheaper than it was original in Germany. So, tighten it good. So now it sits okay, and we are fine with that. And then we can go to the back. And again, set a mark before you take it apart. Here. There's not a retaining ring. This back lens group is just screwed in. And for that we can just use the lens tool here, and the two they are not holes, it's just boring. And in the very beginning I thought, well, there was a retaining ring here that holds the back lens, but it's not. So that's why I set a mark here. But you will also have to set a mark here on the outside here. So you will end up the same place when you're done. So we can just unscrew this. In my lens, this ring, this back lens group didn't sit that hard. But if it does, if it's really tight, yeah, you can see this is a retaining ring. That's why I also have to set a mark here, which I actually didn't do before I unscrewed the retaining ring, but it didn't turn. So we just need to set a mark here. And I will take out this plastic ring. Don't touch the glass. And I can just pop the lens out. Nah, it will not do that. I need the lens sucker. So there. And you see, there's also another lens deeper in here. But you see, there's a mark here which I set before I took the lens out. So that's why you also have to do that. And again, so when this sit in here, set a mark here on somewhere. And of course I did it before, so but I just forgot to tell you how it you should set it before you unscrew the actual retaining ring and take out the plastic ring here. Now, sorry for that. But set a mark here on the edge of this lens element, and we can just wipe away this with some isopropyl alcohol. Well, it's not there yet. So we just take the one lens element first. Is this a good stand? No, this is, I think this one is better. Yeah. Just use that. And I just need to add a little here on this lens element. Get rid of those red spots. But have a look on this lens. Well, since I've just wiped something away here, the lens is not that dirty, but still it is. So we need a cleaning of that. My mark is here, and I just need another lens wipe. And we will just give it another go. There might be more than you think. So there. And very, very gently when you press on the lens wipe. Looks like there are some scratch here on the back. Yeah, it is. Well, it's better, but we'll just do the inside too. And with another lens wipe. So there. So hopefully this lens can be just a little better. Still, it performs actually okay before I took it apart. So still, even if you think how old the lens is, still a good lens, which I will show you before and after the cleaning process. So that's it. Wow. How good is it? Wow. That's amazing. I think it's just amazing. If we look at how old it is, I think the result is fine. And now we dig into the inner lens, and it's a different set. So I just can take that out. And before we do anything, again set a mark here on the edge. You can see I've been then in there before. So we need to just pop it out. It should come out. But I think that it's a very tight fit in here. So it's out. And how bad or good is that? Have a look. Yeah. Now you see it's more hazy in here. And hopefully it's in this on this side or the other. Nothing between the. I don't know if there is a double. I mean, it's what do you say? A cemented lens? I don't know. But let's have a look. See how good it will be. I think it's quite interesting. This. Have a go with lighter fluid. And this is a quite big lens element. Or you should say very concave. So I think it's okay for now. So let's see how good it is. Well, the haze is kind of. So I just need to clean the inside here. And those are also more complicated, not complicated, but it's more tricky to do. Can we do this? No, I think we'll go for this one. It's the 50mm with this hole. Then a lens wipe, and I will also use a cotton bud for this. And the inside here is actually very convex, so we can just go for this. Maybe give it another go with a smaller cotton bud, which can be very handy. So there. And around the edge inside here. Will it work or not? Yeah. Let's see how good it is. Well, not bad. But maybe we can do it, give it another go with a, and simply use some so there. Yeah, I think it will be better. Yeah. No complaint there. So I'll just put it back in again and say that's all fine. And for this there, yeah, just put it back in again. Remember the mark, and it should sit in here. There. And we can just add the back lens. And I can just use my lens sucker here. Then put it in, the mark is there. So. Then add the plastic ring. Then add the ring here. And you see there is, I mean, the plastic ring is smaller than the retaining ring. So again, I will use my finger to hold on to the, hold on to the retaining ring. If the back lens begins to turn, click, and it doesn't seem to turn yet. Yeah, it will begin. So I need to turn it a little and then hold on to, put a finger in here, hold on to the back lens. Then, so there it is. And of course there are some fingerprints here, which I need to wipe away. And say that's all fine. Yeah, I think it's fine. Now get rid of all the stuff here. Then I can put in the lens assembly. See the pin here, and I have my mark here. I have my mark here. So I can simply put it in here. The pin goes into the fork down here, so it can be a little tricky to put in. But maybe it's better with the lens sucker. It is much better. Can be a little tricky. So there it is. And it sits where it should. Those marks sit where they almost should. But just be careful of having those at this the correct position. Then the retaining ring going a little backward. Oh, sometimes it works pretty good. Click, says, and we can screw it in. And where is my tool here? This one. And I just have to be careful of the, because of the aperture, it sits correct. So we can just put it here, and then I need to press a finger on here. Yeah, it's fine. So now we're back again, and with a more clean lens, hopefully. There are some fingerprints on here, doesn't really matter, but this lens is definitely more clean than it was. So if we look here, oh, it's more clean. So I think it's okay for now. Maybe you can do it better. Or maybe your lens is not that much dirt. Click. Then screw it in. And everything is fine again. So yeah, that's all. Just need to have the correct position here. So now that's now this Summincron R is much better than it was. So I hope you can use the info in this video. So yeah, that's all for me. Yeah, look at the description and see the before and after picture in the very end of the video. So see you soon. Bye bye.